Ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, welcome to Sports Unfolded. I am your host, Eric, with my main man, Ron. How are you tonight?
A little warm.
A little warm. I am having some major technical difficulties. I may have to jump off and come back on. So give me a second.
Really?
I am not seeing anything on my... Give me a second.
Well, it's probably from all the smoke.
Yes.
So while he's trying to sort out his black screen, this is Sports Unfolded, Season 3, Episode 23, A Messy Situation. So that obviously has something to do with today's show, and here is Eric.
So once again, welcome to Sports Unfolded, Season 3, Episode 23. Apologize for that technical difficulty. A messy situation. I am your host, Eric. My main man over there, Ron, burning up. How are you?
Just enjoying a little cookout.
I see that. You may want to go easy on the burgers. I'm just letting you know ahead of time.
I don't want to overcook them.
So we are going to talk about our leadoff story, and that is Lionel Messi. He's shocked the soccer world by announcing that he is going to play for Inter Miami Football Club in the MLS. How big of a move is this? Like, where do you rank this on moves?
Well, I mean, for the MLS, this has got to be the biggest one they've ever made.
Yeah, right after David Beckham, who actually owns Miami.
Yeah, no, I think this is bigger than that. Look, you're getting a guy that is arguably top 3 players ever in history.
Yeah.
And what this means for the MLS is just, insurmountable right now. I mean, this is big. When you can lure a guy like this into the MLS.
The smoke might be getting
I can't. It's getting a little close.
Yeah, I was really surprised with the move just based on the fact what Saudi offered him, and it was you know what I mean, $400 million a year. He turned that down. Early reports, again, there's no contract out there currently, but they're saying it's 2.5 years, $100 million deal. But there's incentives with commercial clauses from Adidas and Apple. Again, Still don't think he gets to that 400 million, but you got to be impressed by the fact that he came over to the United States and will play for the Major League Soccer.
Yeah, and there's a lot of soccer fans around the world that aren't very happy with the move. So the situation truly is a little messy. Just a little messy.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, you think about it, what he meant to Barcelona. They win the World Cup 2022, what he means to that country. And, they didn't even offer him a contract is what we're hearing. So if he didn't get a contract from them, Saudi Arabia obviously came and offered a ton of money to him, and he still decided to come to the United States MLS. Maybe David Beckham talked him into it as he owns the team and he's gone through that transition. This puts a major face on Major League Soccer. But the problem would be, too, you're looking at a guy who's 35 and obviously well into his soccer career at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it is just to get people interested in the MLS, really. I mean, this is what the move is all about. You're trying to sell tickets. You're trying to put butts in those seats. And, I mean, you never know what can start out with a butt.
Wow. I will say this, too. He's not available till July 5th.
Yeah,
so
I was talking about,
I get it. I understand. I get exactly where you were going, and I wasn't going to. Oh, man. But July 5th, when he can actually start to play for the team, that's when he can officially be released. But then you look at the fact that it's going to come at a time they're a last place team. So I mean the excitement there, but how much can he really move the needle if that team's not playing well as it is?
Well, I mean, look, I mean, you're trying to build up fan base, right? A fan base that really needs an injection. And again, like this can't be a loss for the league or team in my book. You're getting one of the best players ever, and you're taking him from potentially big spots in the soccer world, and you're putting him square in the United States, and this is going to have all eyes on that league,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
what they want.
Yeah, look, it's a great move for United States soccer because he is a major figure. This isn't a guy, and he still obviously can play. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
talking about he won the World Cup last year. It's not like a guy that you said, hey, the last 5 years he's just declined. He's still at the top of his game. And there was talk about Ronaldo at one point, which I know he ended up signing somewhere else. But you think about what the two of them have meant for soccer in the past decade or two, and now you have one of those polarizing figures now playing in the United States and in Miami. I mean, you think about what they're going through in the sports world with the Heat and the Panthers. Right now, you get Messi. So it's to me that they're starting to become that sports hub, in all those sports because they got all these major guys in all the major sports.
Yeah, they're trying to be the Buffalo Bills maybe in 1 year. Let's get four teams in the championships, games and lose. I mean, that could very well happen. I mean, when you think about, you know, Miami Marlins are a team that, could potentially, you know,
Make the
sneak
playoffs as
up
well.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not far out totally, but but I mean that's what, Miami is. It's a big market, and when you try to draw in, the fans to your leagues, what better way than to have a big name? And I mean they did that, you know in the with the Marlins trying to get, Jeter to
Yeah.
be the forefront of that franchise as an owner. And I mean, some things work, some things don't, but I think for the MLS league, I think this is one move that should indeed work. Um, at least it's going to get people in the seats.
Yeah, the only issue I have is that the ticket gouging has already begun. I think the ticket prices went up like 7 times what they normally were just
Yeah.
by the announcement. Because they got to pay this contract now, and they
Well,
don't.
yeah.
This is not a small contract and a small deal. And then it's going to be funny to see him right an Adidas, Apple commercials.
Yep.
A spokesman for that. So again, now he's getting his face in the United States, and
Yeah, but
you
just
talk
think
about
that
another market.
all these fans are now going to get a chance to see him play live in person. That's the thing, it's like you want to be able to see legends, actually playing live at the stadiums. And like how many people now have been able to, see the goats. You're talking about Tom Brady, you're talking about Michael Jordan, you're talking about, Ali, Wayne Gretzky. Like, how
LeBron
many
James.
have you seen live in your lifetime and throughout all these sports,
Yeah.
right? And this is one of those moments. Well, now Miami can be part of that, and wherever they travel, in the league,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
gonna be big.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely spikes my interest on wanting to see some Major League Soccer games now, and especially when he's playing to see how he does. So we'll wait July 5th, but Messi, and it's still not 100% guaranteed. This is the kicker in this whole thing. It's like until a contract signed, you got to sit back with a little reservation and say, maybe he changes his mind. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, but I mean, that would scare me if I'm Miami right now because I'm hyping this thing up to the point. I want something in paper.
You gotta wonder how much he's going to get for those endorsements.
Yeah, it's got to become close to get that 400 million, right? I can't see you passing up 400 million if you're only going to get 100 million from Apple and Adidas. Then it really doesn't make sense to me.
If you only.
Yeah, only. I know it's chump change. But if you'd like to sponsor the show, Messi, we will gladly have you on all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
A messy situation. Great leadoff story. But let's talk some NFL, my friend. And we're going to bring up Bryce Young here. He's been named the number 1 QB by the Carolina Panthers. Is this a good sign for the team?
I think this is way too early to jump to that right now. I mean, come on. They got to pump the brakes. Yes. Like, I believe he's going to be the better quarterback on this team, as do, 95% of the people that
no love for the red rifle, that Andy Dalton. You didn't think Dalton was going to be the guy?
No, but, but let's not name number 1 just off of your OTAs. I mean, really?
Obviously, he's picking up the system. That's a good sign for them. He's got, you know what I mean, a good sense of where the offense needs to go. I don't think they do this move unless they felt comfortable enough knowing that this progression is where they wanted to see him at already.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, they didn't have to do this. Like, they really, truly didn't have to do this. And I think they should have just waited. Just wait.
Yeah, I would say maybe a preseason or 2, right? The game where you see, like, hey, you know what? He even under real pressure, facing a real team, it's not just shorts and a shirt. It's
because
pads and guys trying to hit you.
Now, what this does is this puts pressure on the coaching staff. If you ask me, it doesn't put pressure on Bryce Young. This puts pressure on the coaching staff.
Frank Reich and that stuff. Yes,
they're expected to be, have this guy ready. And if he doesn't look ready, then that's on the coaching staff. There is no reason to name him number 1 quarterback right now at all. There was no reason that they needed to do this. This is just them trying to, to cater to their fans, that generally fans don't know what's best for the football team.
Yeah. Listen, this team's loaded up. Miles Sanders, they signed, Adam Thielen, DJ Chalk, and Hayden Hurst on the offensive side of the ball. This may also be a move because they want to get him acclimated to that first team and those guys.
Yeah, and I get it. So you just have him be out there for it. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to name him number 1 quarterback to do that. Like, you're the coaching staff. Have, a little bit of spine in you. Like, you already just said, okay, he's number 1, so the rest of the quarterbacks really don't even matter now. So you think they're going to give a full effort?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Andy Dalton, even if he gave a full effort, I don't think he would have.
I'm just saying, it's like
I got you.
No sense. You gotta have, your quarterbacks compete. When you have a rookie coming in, he doesn't know anything.
Yeah. I think their high hopes is that this obviously elevates him even more. So, I mean, it could be a good move. To your point, I like the coaching aspect you talked about, right? I think that you're 100% right. Frank Reich and that staff now has to say they got this right. Because if you don't, and this kid becomes the number 1, quarterback starting at day 1.
Comes out, throws 4 picks in the first half. What do you do?
Do you bench him?
You can't take him out.
Yeah. You're saying that's your guy. No, I agree with you there. Right? I would have at least liked to seen some preseason action, see how he looks, how he handles the team.
He hasn't even had a real practice yet.
Yeah. Well, not a game. Not a game. I'm talking about practice. Practice.
Practice.
Practice.
Talking about a practice?
Not a game. Not a game. All right. What another big move in the NFL? Dalvin Cook, running back for the Minnesota Vikings, has been
this
released.
is shocking, to be honest with you.
Which team should look to sign him? Where do you think he should go?
How many teams are there in the league?
32. Well, obviously 31 of them would pick Minnesota. I don't think
Well,
so.
31 other teams should take a look at him.
Yeah. And I would say this. I looked at some numbers. So for him alone, played a full season last season. That was some of the questions with Dalvin Cook was durability. Could he play a full season? He seems to have stayed healthy the last couple of years. But 264 yards rushing, 1,173 yards, 8 touchdowns, 39 receptions for 295 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he can do a lot of different things for you in your offense. Here's a team that I think automatically should call him. I hope they already have. The Cincinnati Bengals. They ranked 29th last season in rushing. You have a very small window right now to try to compete with the Chiefs because you know that they're not going to be able to keep all their key players once those contracts come up. Get a guy like this who can do multiple things for you. There's a little question mark on Joe Mixon anyway and some of his legal troubles outside of football. That makes a lot of sense to me. They're a team on the cusp of getting back to the Super Bowl. It gives Dalvin Cook some motivation. It gives them something they need. I would literally look, if I was the Bengals, at making this move happen ASAP.
Yeah, if not them, then maybe Buffalo.
Buffalo's another team. The Dolphins are heavily rumored to want to pick him up. And again, you think about all the players that they've gotten. So, and then I would
I'd go there if I'm him.
Yeah, I agree. But then it's because that same thing with Miami.
A quarterback that likes to run, and then you have those receivers that need the ball. I'm not sure that they'd be able to use him properly.
What about the Chiefs? Realistically, look,
I know,
right?
They might want him just so nobody else has him.
Gets him, right? And I think that's a look. And then I would even say, look, New England. And I'm not playing Homer here, but they need a second running back. I know you see in the background, but I will say that if you look at, they have Ramondre Stevenson. After that, I mean,
but they're so impressed with their new boy.
Yeah, okay.
Just saying, they're impressed.
If I'm New England, I'm picking up the phone as well. I know that DeAndre Hopkins is coming in.
Yeah, that's the first phone call I make
for a look. Well, he's meeting with New England this week, so that's a good sign. Maybe they go and try to make another splash. You get now you change the whole complexity in the AFC East if you get a Hopkins and a Dalvin Cook. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you think about that offense now. That changes them tremendously. I don't think you're buying into it. No. Well. We'll see where he goes. I'm sure. I don't think he'll be on the market as long as Hopkins was. I think this is going to be a quicker signing. We should, by next show, I'm sure we'll have a signing for Dalvin Cook. I would almost get, it would probably be in my future prospects if we were going to do that. But I am, you didn't see that coming, did you? But we are on to our new segment, the starting five. These are our starting five players named Kenny, Kenneth, for one of our biggest supporters, our biggest fans. I'm a little disappointed. I wanted him on for this one to see who he had for his starting five. But you are first this week, my friend. So you get to start us off with your number 5 for Kenny, Kenneth. So we'll just say Ken.
Yeah, you're gonna love this one. I have Ken Norton Jr.
Okay.
There was a lot of contenders for this spot, but I ended up going with Ken Norton Jr. Just a few things. First of all, 1,128 tackles, 12 forced fumbles, 12 and a half sacks. The tackles are where it's at, though. Like you weren't getting through him, basically. And when you add the fact that 3 Pro Bowls, 1 All Pro, and the fact that he has 3 championships, that speaks volumes. And he's a big part of that defense that won.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
so I went with Ken Norton Jr.
Ken Norton Jr. as your number 5. I almost had Norton Jr. in mind, and I didn't. I kept him out. At 5, though, Ken Griffey. Senior. Senior.
Yes.
296, a lifetime batting average, and a 2-time champion.
Yep.
I just think that, look, if you think about what he meant to baseball back then, and then when obviously his son came in, Ken Griffey Sr. was my number 5.
Yeah, no, I can see that because he was one of those guys that I was debating whether to put up there or not.
Yeah.
And, so not. But,
Number 4, my friend.
Number 4, who do I have? I have, this might actually surprise you, Kenny Lofton.
Wow. Guess who I had it for? Kenny Lofton. So that was a pretty good one. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this guy, like, you just think, oh, yeah, he's a good player, but
his
number
numbers really
4?
Yeah.
Well, take a look at those numbers. 2,428 hits. Only 130 home runs, but that's not what he was. He was a speedster. 299 lifetime batting average, 622 stolen bases. 1,528 runs scored. It didn't stop there. 6 All-Stars, and of course 4 Gold Gloves. 4 Gold Gloves.
So defensively as well.
I mean, he was a spectacular player.
Yeah.
I really liked him as a player.
Phenomenal leadoff hitter.
Yes,
He was a great leadoff hitter. So Kenny Lofton, my 4 as well. So that's pretty good. That's a first for our starting 5.
We've never had one the same so far.
The same. So you so far, Ken Norton Jr., Kenny Lofton, your number 3.
My number 3 is Ken Norton.
Oh, you went the senior route too.
I went the senior. So my senior and junior Griffey didn't make it, but my senior and junior Norton made the list. So that might be a surprise for some people out there. But Ken Norton was brutal. He was tough. You're looking at a guy. Let me see. Where's his numbers? 42, 7, and 1 lifetime record in boxing. 33 of those wins by knockout. I mean, he went 1 and 2, I believe, against Muhammad Ali. So that's not so bad, right? So, I mean, that's something to be said. 2 of your losses were Ali. That's acceptable.
That is
acceptable.
Very acceptable.
So,
I like that one.
Fighter.
That's a good one. Very good. Very good one. My number 3, Ken Houston, the cornerback, Oilers and Redskins, 49 interceptions in his career, 9 touchdowns, Ron.
Yeah, he was right there with Norton.
Yeah, and I love those
Super Bowls. I had to give it to Norton.
I love those numbers, though. 9 touchdowns. That is pretty impressive. And back then, you didn't see those guys do that as much as you did, in the 90s.
Right.
So, great players so far. What at 2? Great athletes overall.
Number 2, I had Ken Griffey Jr.
Wow, I am shocked. I can't wait to see who your number 1 is.
I am shocked as well. I really thought I was going to put him at number 1, but I couldn't, Eric. I couldn't do it. I mean, I love his numbers. Love his 630 home runs. I mean, this kid was just great. I wish if he would have played another, 4 or 5 years, he would own all the records. And we know what those records are. 755.
Oh boy, there we go.
284 lifetime batting average, 1,662 runs, 1,836 RBI, 2781 in hits. He would have easily crack 3,000 if not for his injuries. And look, I mean, this what held him back is no championships.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
it hurt.
why that's the ultimate number that that I go by a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
there's
I
no
know.
denying
I know.
this kid's talent. I mean,
Yeah.
he was great. I think he's one of the best all time.
Yeah. Little surprised there are two. So my number two, Ken Rosewell, tennis player, 23 majors, 8 grand slams. You
Yeah.
talk about just a sheer dominance in that 70s era. When I was reading all of his accolades, I was like, wow, this guy was. Then they don't talk about him in tennis, and I don't know why, because his numbers are phenomenal.
Yeah, and I forgot about him. I probably would have put him in the top 5. I probably would have had him number 4, and Ken Norton Jr. probably would have been out. But I think the same thing would have been said for you if you didn't miss my number 1.
Yeah, I'm dying to hear this,
because I know your number 1 is going to be Junior.
My number 1 is Junior, but I had a 1A, a 1B.
You have 2 of them.
I have 2 number 1s. Because the reason why we're doing this starting 5, my main man Kenny, we got to give Kenny some love. He has to be.
I didn't know he was eligible.
But we have to give him some love.
He's disqualified because he's not here on this one.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed on that one.
See,
But your number 1, I can't.
My number 1, and this has to mean something for me to put this guy here. That's a Montreal Canadian.
Oof.
This hurts. This hurts. The fact that I couldn't put Ken Hodge in there, and I have Ken Dryden, really is disgruntling me. Ken Dryden, listen to this record: 258 wins, 57 losses, 74 ties. Wow. He has more ties than losses.
Yeah.
46 shutouts. He has 46 shutouts. He had 57 losses.
That's insane.
2.24 goals against average, which is absolutely incredible, especially when you consider when he played, when goal scoring exploded. 922 save percentage.
Wow.
These are incredible numbers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he won a Calder Trophy, a Smythe Trophy, 5 Vezina awards.
Wow, best goalie, yeah.
All right. 6 All-Stars, 6 Stanley Cup championships.
Very impressive.
I could not put him below Junior. Couldn't do it.
I got you. Very good. You know what? You probably got that right. I think you're right on that one. And I missed them. So great job. Players named Ken. That was our starting 5.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
That's a fun one. I think we're going to do another fun one next week. Let's do another one. Let's do Ron.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
So we're going to do next week our starting 5 named Ron.
All right. Just for the record, I did win a championship in hockey.
You're going to be on my list then. You're going to be on my list. It's a guarantee.
And I was 3rd in the league in scoring too. My 2 line mates went 1 and 2.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
You had a good team.
We were like the 72 Bruins, I guess.
Oh boy. Let's talk it's great starting 5. Let's talk some NBA action. And the finals, the Denver Nuggets have taken a 2-1 lead in the finals. Does Miami have to win game 4 tonight?
Yeah, just to get back that embarrassment from, game 3. I mean, man, Denver's good when they pour it on.
Yeah, listen, we talked about them all year. They're just quiet good. They make, they're very good passing the ball. Think about this, first time in NBA history, 2 guys in the same game, 30-point triple doubles. So Jamal Murray has become the guy they needed him to become. He's been healthy That's so crucial. Joker, we talked about the MVP snub in the regular season. He's on a mission. The fact that I looked at, there's only been 13 times a team's been down 3-1 and come back. Never in the NBA Finals except for 2016 with LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. It doesn't happen. It's very, very rare, especially in the finals.
And they don't have LeBron.
Yes, thank you. Good. But I would say this too. Teams that have won game 3, 80% of the time win the series.
Yeah.
32-40 in the last 40.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I'm actually surprised that Miami was able to win game 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Brian,
I'm glad
thanks.
they did. I'm glad they did. I don't hate Miami. I hate them for beating the Celtics, but that's the Celtics' fault. It's not their fault.
Brian, thanks for joining. Will Messi be the best paid athlete in the States now? Yeah, well, you just missed. We just talked about Messi in our leadoff. And Brian, I think, look, the endorsement deals, right? They're talking Adidas and Apple. Those are going to be some big, so we're going to see him all over. He's going to be a face. I'm sure there'll be a soft drink or a restaurant or something else that picks him up as well. I think he's going to make a ton just from the endorsements because of the excitement. That's where the market's going to be.
I think a maid service should pick him up.
Oh, here we go.
I mean, he's so messy.
I can't with you sometimes. But yeah, Brian, I think it's going to be interesting to see how he plays here in the United States. How does he look different? Do things change? And again, we know soccer is not as big here in the United States.
Football.
Right? So can his popularity worldwide translate here in America? That's the one aspect we just don't know, because even when Beckham came over, Beckham was a big star, but it didn't boost at the MLS as I think they thought it would have.
Wow,
6
really?
million followers. Wow.
6 million new followers just because he signed.
So there you go. Brian, you probably just answered the question for us, right? Like, he's gonna financially, I think he makes out because of all these different aspects and avenues that he can take now and just say, look, I'm gonna, sign with whoever, Buick. Here we go. Now he's doing Buick.
The ratings of the games now are going to go up. They're going to have massive amounts of income for their televised games. I mean, this is all part of it, right? I mean, you're looking at a potential windfall like the Yankees get for television. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
this is massive.
Ron, think about it from an international standpoint.
Right.
MLS is going to be now being played. You don't think Barcelona in Spain, they're not going to want to watch Miami during the regular season now to see this guy? So they're going to gain just international success from this. This brings MLS overseas.
Yeah,
which,
it does.
It didn't predominantly do that, as much as some of those other tournaments would have done, worldwide.
Yeah, no, this is big, and that's just another aspect, the television aspect. I mean, that's going to be huge. All those countries are going to want to pick up the games, and what do you think they're going to have to do? They're going to have to pay, the MLS to do that. And again, the injection of money that's going to be involved in this goes beyond just the ticket sales.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I think it's great for Major League Soccer. Brian, I'm glad you joined us.
There'll certainly be more people watching that than the Red Sox.
Yeah, I would hope so. Yeah. Look at that. They're loaded over there, the fans.
Yep. They're not using the stadium.
Loaded. So we just talked a little bit about Messi. We're still on the NBA. We're going to talk a little bit about Phoenix Suns and Chris Paul. They're deciding his future. Do you think he can still hold some value for another team?
Let's look at it this way, Eric. How do you think KD is going to respond if he doesn't stay there?
Good point. But they're looking to move on. Yeah, even
Isn't that
Ayton though.
why he went there? That's one of the reasons, correct?
Yeah,
Had to be. Somebody that can distribute the ball, and then if they just don't keep him next year, then that's a really bad look. And then you got to start to wonder what the feelings are going to be in, KD's head again. I
yeah.
mean, he gonna go through what he went through last year?
I mean, the one positive, he's got Devin Booker. So Phoenix, from a standpoint of they're 2 stars. They're talking about Ayton possibly moving on from Ayton as well. Chris Paul to me is he's that odd breed of, do you bring him in understanding that he's not going to play a full season, but he could still see, this is a move, and I'm going to sound again like a homer again, but this is a move to me Boston needs to make, because you don't need him so much for the regular season. You need his leadership and ball skills in the playoffs to get the team to do things they don't do now. Move the ball, distribute, set plays.
Yeah.
And that's where I think his value he still has value. Don't be surprised though. Very good friends with LeBron James. And that was always rumored. Does he go to LA? Does he go with the Lakers? And now he gives them a piece but again, you're talking aging pieces who we know aren't going to be there for a full season. How much of that plays a factor on you signing a guy?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of places that I can see him land. Like I actually think Philadelphia is a great place for
Sixes
him
I
to
had on my
go.
list as well. Yeah.
I mean, obviously you're not going to be able to trade, him for Harden, because that makes no sense, because there's no way Harden goes to
Phoenix.
wherever KD is right
Yeah.
now. So that isn't, a possibility. So it's not like you're going to sign and trade, players here. And so that's out of the question. So how would Philadelphia go about it? Not re-signing,
Harden.
Harden would open up the space, but how do you get him? And that's the question. And there's a lot of places where he could go. Like, you also have to wonder, okay, well, if Dallas
Yeah. That's a good
doesn't
point.
keep
Yeah.
Kyrie,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't that be a nice place for him to go and play with Luca?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of possibilities. I think Chris Paul is in a very good spot here, and he could pretty much land wherever he wants to. And I think wherever he wants to is going to be a contender.
Yeah. And that's the only thing that makes sense. I think, again, that's the one piece for him that it's still out
Yeah,
there that he hasn't won a chip.
right.
And until
And
he
we
gets
say
it,
it here all the time.
yeah, it
And
hurts.
when we say it,
It
it's
means
sticking
something.
in his head,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
he
yeah.
knows that he's not going to get the respect from this show until he does it.
Absolutely not, Chris. So if you'd like to join Sponsor Folded, come on down. Tell us why we're wrong. But
Yeah,
last season, 13.9 points per game, 8.9 assists, 59 games.
yeah,
But again, obviously needed him in the playoffs. One of his lowest shooting percentages in the last few years. They only shot 440.
yeah.
So, maybe 32 minutes a game. Maybe, again, go to a team where you don't have to put up as much numbers. And possibly, I don't know. I think the injury thing is going to scare a lot of teams, though. That's the one aspect of it, is if you're counting on him to be the guy, that
Well,
you can't sign him.
he can go to Boston because apparently the Celtics don't worry about injury problems.
Celtics are lucky there. Oh, don't get me started again on the Celtics. We're not doing that. Let's talk some PGA, my friend. Some
Who?
golf. Some golf.
Look, I don't even have the PGA on the board here. What is
My
up? There's
goodness.
PGA news.
There is PGA. Some other league in them that there was some legal battles going on, and have now decided to merge, Ron. So the
Oh,
PGA and Live Golf are now merging and becoming a one league. Who made out in this deal?
the players.
But which players? Because now you look at the guys that signed with Live
Yeah,
and got all that money. Those PGA guys didn't.
yeah,
And there's no talk of that changing.
yeah. No, I mean, this is the thing. This all isn't over, but they're going to have to even it up a little. they're going to have the other players are going to get signed for something.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to because you can't do it like this. So they're gonna have to get signed. And those players that did go over to live, they won. They
Yeah.
won big time because this is what they set out to do and they got it. So they were successful. And now Live is successful because now they can merge and they get everything they want.
Yeah. I am a little disgusted with the PGA.
Yeah.
And they basically trotted out families from 9/11 saying that Live Golf, obviously they're from Saudi Arabia, that region and what it's meant, to America. And we know the tragedy.
Yep.
And now you, after berating these people on stage and telling them how horrible Live Golf is, have merged with them
Yeah.
because ultimately money wins everything.
Yeah.
And to me, this puts so much egg on the PGA's image because you sit back now and you look at it and say, what were you really fighting for? You weren't fighting for the American people and believing in that. What you were fighting for is to get ultimately more money.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
And that's the thing. This is what the players were saying right from the beginning. About the PGA. It was all about the PGA. It wasn't about the players. They didn't care about the players. You think that they actually care about Tiger Woods? No, they want Tiger Woods because he sells,
Sells money.
sponsorships
Yeah.
and everything. That's what makes them money. It had nothing to do with anything but money.
It's sad. It's sad to see, and I'm hoping now there are some sponsors that are trying to get out of their sponsorships with the PGA because they don't want to be associated with the Saudi Arabian, country and have some of that. So they may lose some money on the back end, but Saudi Arabia brings a lot of money in.
Yeah.
And I think they mitigate it by just saying, look, they're going to end up giving us some money back and we're going to make up whatever money we lose from sponsorship. So PGA ultimately was a money grabbing, situation that to me, I'm just disgusted with the way it all went down.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's absolutely correct. And any fans that watch this show later on, I'd really like them to throw comments about this subject. Where do they fit on this fence here?
And who did
Because I mean, when you'd like to think that these two corporations are doing it for the players and what's best for them, but that's not happening.
no. And I would ask this is who do you side with? PGA players, the Live players, like who's better off? PGA, they stand packed and they stuck with it and said, look, those guys weren't loyal and they went and they don't want them in their tournaments. They didn't want them to have the rankings. They did all this stuff. And yet now you're going to look at it and say, okay, if that money's out there, you don't think those players now are going to say, well, we want our cut?
Yeah.
Now it's going to be okay to take it?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's clearly a division. And it's clearly a division amongst the golfers themselves. Because, when you think about it, when those players first started signing there and they clearly had a problem with what was going on with the PGA, and probably rightfully so. Now I'm not saying that, these athletes just make so much money. I mean, it doesn't matter, but in the grand scheme of things, you still can't treat the players like crap. I mean, it just wasn't right what they were doing. And, now that it's, merging again, they're doing it for all the wrong reasons again.
But again, all those players that left because they didn't want to be part of that.
Right.
Now all of a sudden it's okay. Like I don't know who I'm more the whole
Right.
situation
It's
stinks.
just terrible.
Yeah, and it's sad because the fans are the ones that are ultimately going to lose because you know what's going to happen now. Here we go
Well,
again.
maybe we'll have another league pop up and say, okay,
Let's just keep getting right.
let's sign them, those other players, and let's do what
Oh my
should be
gosh.
done.
Yeah, let's not do that. All right, my friend, we are going to talk some Major League Baseball and we're going to talk some Jacob deGrom. So he is officially done for the season. They're not 100% sure it's going to be Tommy John. They didn't want to say it, but it is definitely an elbow injury. And Chakra, thanks for joining. I will ask you this. Do you think it's time for us to consider his career over if you think about the amount of time he's missed?
Oh boy, this is bad. You know, this guy has so much talent, and it's a shame because he's probably, when healthy, probably the best pitcher in baseball, right?
Without a doubt. Listen, I was going to say
Not even
this, Ron.
close.
It don't be upset with me on this one, but I would compare him almost as dominant as like a Pedro Martinez.
Oh, absolutely. No,
Like
you're
his
absolutely right.
numbers, if you look at them, are very similar.
Yeah, no, I mean this is what he is, but the problem is he's brittle. And who is going to want to invest all that money
Rangers
into
already
a
did
pitcher that can't do it? Texas is just, they're
five
eating this contract.
5 years, $185 million.
They are eating this contract.
He's already
It's
done
going to
for
go
the
down
year.
as one of the worst contracts. This and Chris Sale.
Yeah, yeah, right. So listen, since 2019, he played 32 games in
Yeah,
2019. Following season, 12 games, then 15 games, then 11. This season, 6.
yeah. I mean, 6 games to get the what is it, 25 million a year?
It's unreal. Like
That's
I don't.
bad.
It's more than 25,
Nobody's gonna
right?
sign him again for this.
No,
No
he's all
one.
done. That's what I'm saying. But is his career like realistically? Look, he comes back next season, possibly,
Maybe.
right? But do you sit back and go, okay, he's gonna be that dominant pitcher? There's been way too many
No,
injuries at
you
this
can't
point.
even do that. You have to use now. I think what happens to him if he does come back, he's a reliever, limited time reliever. Maybe he can close, but when you're facing durability problems, I can't see him being a full time closer either.
Yeah,
So you have to have limited
because that's even
relief
more games,
appearances.
right? That's more games as a closer. You're probably 40, 50, 60 games, depending
Right.
on how much you use.
His arm structure just can't handle the pitching aspect of the game.
Right.
Just can't handle it.
In his career, 84 and 57, 2.53 ERA,
Yeah.
1,652 strikeouts, and only 307 walks. The man was dominant.
Yeah.
And it's such a shame because his numbers, unfortunately, they would have been Hall of Fame if he was healthy.
Yeah.
And I think that's a done deal for him as well.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. Great Major League Baseball talk. Texas Rangers fans, we do apologize. Sorry about that. That's a big loss because they're playing very well, the Rangers. Very well.
Yeah.
So
When you lose your ace, that's
yeah, it doesn't help. Does not help. But we are on to our future prospects, my friend.
hey, they can always trade him to the Red Sox, for a healthy pitcher.
It is future prospects time. This is the part of our show where we make 2 bold future predictions that we've gone into our time machine. We hopped in the DeLorean and we said, look, I'm going to bring this back and tell you what's going to happen in the future. Even though we shouldn't, right? Because now you're going to go out there. Everybody that watches this, they go out, they hit Vegas right away, Ron.
Yeah.
And they put all this money down. So, what we're saying to you is, listen, that's cheating. We don't want you to cheat. All right. We're just giving you information so you can see what's going to happen. Ron, you are first. Your first future prospect.
Yeah, I don't know which one to go through first, but I'll start with, assuming we just finished baseball. I am going to say Joey Votto is going to be traded.
Okay.
And he's going to go to Houston.
Ooh.
So the Houston Astros looking to get a championship this year, and considering Jose Abreu has 1 home run in 230 at bats, that is time to get a first baseman, and they're going to make the deal.
They're making a move. Joey Votto. I like it. Very good. Very good. So when I came back, I looked at it and I said, I thought this was a big story. The Dallas Cowboys, they make it to the NFC Championship game. And so from a playoff standpoint, you look at it, hey, great job, but they are going to lose to the Philadelphia Eagles, who are going to go back to the Super Bowl. So the Dallas Cowboys will make a playoff run next season. Be ready. It's going to happen, bro. I saw it.
No kidding. With all the bad teams in the NFC, you have to.
So the NFC is not very good, but
Not so bold.
That Cowboys. When's the last time the Cowboys have been in an NFC Championship game? Anybody out there? 96? I believe it's 96, Ron. So it's been quite some time.
When was the last
so it's a
time
little bold. I would say that's bold.
The NFC has never looked this bad.
Okay. I'm okay.
There's nothing good out there.
You're number 2.
All right. Which is actually my real number 1.
Yeah, real number 1.
It is the better one.
Okay.
All right. Patrick Kane.
Oh, yes. Yep. The injured Patrick Kane. We talked about
where he's going to go.
Yeah, we talked about him last week.
I am going to say he's going to sign with the New Jersey Devils.
Ooh. Staying in that market.
The Devils, they have the 3rd most space on the cap going into the season. This just makes sense all over it. You add another veteran to that group that has been there, done that. Now you're talking. Talking.
All right. And I think they just made a trade, the Devils, too. They got rid of a player, defenseman. So, man, it's freeing up some cap space.
That's what they're doing.
Could be correct. there. Not bad. Very good. Very good. My other story that I read of interest when I was out in the the land yonder. I came back and
right?
Oh, it is. I came back and said, wow, I can't believe we were just talking about him, but Chris Paul. And I'm like, Chris Paul, where did Chris Paul go? He ends up signing with the Lakers. He signs with the Lakers, but unfortunately, due to injuries, I know that's a bold prediction, the Lakers still lose in the playoffs. So he does not get his championship, even joining the Lakers.
Okay, so let's just get this straight. So you have Kyrie going to the Lakers, and you have Chris Paul going to the Lakers.
Yep. They're building a super team. Yeah.
Okay.
Could happen. Chris Paul's listen, they're not looking for Chris Paul to play 82 games, right? That's your 40 games. You get Kyrie for 40.
Yeah, you said he gets hurt. So is he going to play any?
He's playing the back end. They're gonna send him out in the front end. The Kyrie's gonna run the front end. Think about it. That's future prospects, people. Don't make any bets. Don't go to Vegas because I'm going to tell you right now they're going to know you heard it from us. You know you heard they know you heard it from us. You can't do it. Don't do it. Ron, let's talk some NHL though. We got a Stanley Cup final now that looks a little more interesting as Florida now won game 3, still down 2-1. They've clawed their way back into this finals, but can they come back and win this series?
Well, it was like night and day.
I like that. Was that the Tom Cruise, Cameron Diaz movie?
Oh,
Very
God,
good.
That was terrible.
Woo.
Another stink bomb by Tom Cruise, right? Look, Panthers were down 3-1 to the Bruins. They obviously, got back and took the series.
Did they win that series? I forgot, Ron. I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, they did. Okay.
They won that series.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hence, that's why they're in the Stanley Cup Finals. But I think, the team is on the right path. Like winning game 3. If they can pull off game 4, then you're looking at it's all even, and then it goes to best of 3. And I like the chances of the Panthers after that.
The only thing I would say is Vegas dominated the 2 games they won. They won 5-2 and then 7-2. Florida had to scrape and claw, and I think they scored in the last 2 minutes with an extra man, empty net, to at least get this game tied and then win in overtime. So the amount of energy that they had to put forward just to win that game would be a little concerning to me because it wasn't easy for them. It wasn't something where you sit back and go, okay, they dominated, they looked good again. They had to struggle to get that win.
Yeah, but they played basically to their abilities in game 3. They didn't do that in 1 and 2. And when you look at this team, how did they play in games 1 and 2 and 3 and against Boston up until game 5 when they just went on to another level. They were outplaying the Bruins. The Bruins were just playing so poorly, and they didn't get their stride until it was too late. And Florida by then already had the confidence, to take it to them. This is the same thing that you're seeing in this series. They had to come back down to earth a little to do what they did in game 3. They got blown out, in the first 2 games, and it's like, oh, we need to play our game now. And then they go out and they play their game, and then you see the results. If it happens again, that is going to be very reminiscent of the Bruins series. And when you think about it, tell me that the Golden Knights really aren't the Western Conference's version of the Bruins.
Could very well be. I agree with you.
It's very eerily similar when you look at those teams.
So let me ask you this question, Ron. Who's it more important for in game 4?
Oh, absolutely Florida. I mean, you got to think that they have to try to tie this up because you go 3-1. Yes, I get that.
To your point, they've done it.
Right. They've done it, but it is still more important to Florida because you don't want to go into Vegas after you get crushed there twice and have to be down 3-1.
I agree, but then I also look at it the other aspect. I don't think Vegas wants to go back 2-2 because now that momentum shifts again. So I think
they still have the confidence they can play at home.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. Game 4, we will do our predictions later on in the show, but at least it's a series again. We've got a series, so that's a good one. Ron, it is time for pick and roll.
It's time for pick and roll.
Tonight's pick and roll is it's a little different. We did number 23, right? Episode 23, and you're going, Eric, 23, that's an easy one. Number 1, Michael Jordan, right? Maybe LeBron James. We said, now we're going to do the other number 23s in the NBA because we already know where those guys rank. So we picked 6 other players in the NBA that had at least won the number 23 in their career. And those 6 players are Jimmy Butler, Anthony Davis, Blake Griffin, Mitch Richmond, Draymond Green, and Calvin Murphy. And we're going to rank them from 6 to 1. And Ron, you are first. I cannot wait to hear your list. At number 6, pick and roll, baby.
Okay, number 6, I have Calvin Murphy. Look, I like his numbers.
Yeah.
The 17.9 points is pretty nice. 4.4 assists. His shooting percentage, 48.2, not too bad. I mean, the 3-point percentage was pretty horrible, but only one All-Star, and he had the least amount of accolades out of all of these players. So I put him at number 6. Number 5, you're going to probably think I'm out of my mind, but I went Draymond Green, despite his 4 championships.
You contradict yourself so many times on these things because
no,
always championship.
No, but I look, I do like the championships, and I've had a really difficult time with Draymond Green. But when you have the Splash Brothers out there, and some of those championships, KD, that
it takes away your points.
It does. And I like that he has 4 all defensive, you know, in the NBA. Like I
Eight.
like that.
He had eight all defensive.
Well, the numbers I saw said 4,
Oh,
so
it's eight. But go ahead.
but Draymond Green, 8.7 points, 7 rebounds, 5.6. Frankly, I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's enough. Um, I mean, obviously it was enough to get 4 championships, but again, when you have one of the best players of all time, oh, sorry, 2 of the best players of all time in some of those championships, um, I don't know. I couldn't, and plus, I just don't like him.
I know that. Okay.
I just don't like him.
Okay.
So, I wouldn't have chose him other than over Calvin Murphy. Number 4, I actually have Blake Griffin. I like his career numbers. I mean, obviously, the last couple of years isn't going to
Yeah.
define what his career was, but you're looking at 19 points per game, 8 boards a game, and 4 assists. That is pretty good for a guy his size and his skill level. I mean, it's fantastic. He had a good career, to
He
be
did.
honest with you.
He did.
6 All Stars, 5 All NBA, and he won a Rookie of the Year. And I had a really tough time between Draymond and Blake, but because I despise Draymond Green so much that I said, okay, I'm going to go with Blake. So,
Oh,
I
boy.
just don't think he's a nice human, and
Okay.
so
Okay. All
Blake,
right.
number 4.
Okay.
So, number 3, Mitch Richmond, 21 points a game, 3.9 boards, 3.5 assists, 6 All Stars, 5 All NBA. He's got a Rookie of the Year under his belt, and he also has a championship. I've always liked Mitch Richmond. I think he was a hell of a player. Um, you know, if it was a different NBA back then, and they move around team to team to get championships, this guy probably would have won a whole bunch more.
Yeah.
I think he's a great player, and a lot of times he was the guy on the teams that he went to.
Yeah.
So, number 2, this was tough too because I would rather have the number 2 on my team. Jimmy Butler, I put number 2, and I love his game. I think I think he needs to get somewhere where it can be useful. I would love to see him in green and not with the Milwaukee Bucks. But this guy has got so much heart that I think he actually plays above his skill level. He just doesn't have, the real pieces that he needs to get a championship.
Yeah.
And 18.2 points, 5.3 boards, 4.2 assists, 6 All Stars, 5 All NBA. He's got a steals title, all defensive 5 times. I mean, look, Jimmy Buckets. I mean, I love the fact that he got that team to the NBA Finals. Again, he just doesn't have enough. He
Yeah.
needs to
Okay.
have somebody else. So maybe a Jason Tatum would be nice. Saying. So
Kind of
number 1,
speak that into his existence.
number 1, even though I don't really like it, Anthony Davis. When you look at the skill level that he
Video games 1980s. Thanks for joining us.
when you look at 24 points a game, 10 boards, I mean, a double for an average, that's great. And no matter how long
Yeah.
your career is. 8 All Stars, 4 All NBA, 3 blocks titles, and a championship. Look, this guy he should even be more. He should even be more than what he is. But for what he is, he's still the better player on this list.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Video games at 1980. Thanks for joining. I'm just curious if you like video games. I mean, from the 80s, what kind of games? I'm really curious. Is that a a clue into the old school 80s video games? Or are you playing current stuff? So pick and roll, my friend. We basically would have been the same if you could disdain your hatred for one individual for 1 second and actually put him where he belonged.
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What can I
But
tell you?
I went Calvin Murphy. Again, the 23 when he wore it, San Diego Rockets before the Houston Rockets, so they moved. That's when he wore his number 23. 17.9 you talked about, right? And think about it though, there was a span in the late 80s where he averaged over 20 points a game. Like he dominated. The problem is though, you're talking about an era too where you started to have some of those great players, and that kind of hurt him. And I think that's why you saw less All-Star games from him as
Yeah.
well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
At 5, I did have Blake Griffin. NES games, outstanding. Love NES. I got some NES games myself. Love the old school stuff. Cannot go wrong with that video games. You don't like you Ron, of all people, you're old school. We used to do the NHL 94 all the time. Punch Out. Oh yeah, Marble Madness and Mario Brothers. All right. Nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. You got to check out Havenshine. They're in the gaming.
Yeah.
Right? They do
Melee, so he should like that.
Yeah, so a lot of good stuff there. But Mario Brothers is always a classic. Any of the Marios. Still play Mario today. And then Mike Tyson Punch Out. You had to go Mike Tyson Punch Out. So at 5, I agree with you. I had Blake Griffin.
I didn't have him number 5.
Well, I'm saying the realistic order you should have had, but Blake Griffin at 5. And again, very solid career, but then you got to look at, he might be one of those guys that hangs on a little too long and it kind of dilutes his numbers a little bit at some point. Mitch Richmond, I had at 4. I loved Mitch. I loved that Chris Mullin, Hardaway, and Mitch, right? What was it? TMC, they called them. Those guys were great. Those were some good teams. I think he won his championship, though. He went to the Lakers. 2002 was his last year, and he went to the Lakers and got that championship. Jimmy Butler, I had at 3. T Wolves in 76 is when he wore the number 23. He's currently not 23, but at 5, all defensive. 2, very impressive. Like you think about it. I went Draymond. And listen, what I read, 8 all defensive and a defensive player of the year. So what he is to that Warriors team is what they need him to be. He's not the scorer. You're 100% right. His numbers are always going to be lower than most because of the fact that, you got Steph and you got Clay, and they're going to take up most of the shots. And then he had KD. His job is to play defense, to grab rebounds. He did that extremely well to get 4 championships. So I went Draymond at number 2, and then Anthony Davis, to your point, with the Hornets and Pelicans is when he wore his number 23. But double-double. He's averaging a double-double in his career. You can't take that away from him. 4 all defensive as well. And
maybe Jokic can take it away from him.
Yes. Yes, but it was interesting. Other number 23s. Jordan, LeBron, right? Obviously 23s, Ron. Would you have LeBron ahead of Jordan?
No.
You sure?
I'm positive.
I feel like you would.
No. Not even close.
Not even close.
He might be my second favorite 23.
Ron, it is on to prediction time. We got a few people that have joined us live as well. Brian, Chakra, Video Games. If you guys want to get in and give us your picks as well, we can put you on our board. I am currently a 4-game lead. We had a rough week last week. You 2-5. I went 4-3. Kenny 6-1. And believe it or not, the one game he lost was Connecticut, his hometown. They let him down and lost to the Aces. Otherwise, he would have been 7-0. 7-0. So okay, Kenny coming back.
I'm gonna go perfect today.
All right, I love it. I want to get some guys on there. So Video Games, if you're on, pick when we give the teams the games. Pick your team who you think is going to win that game. We'll put you on our board. Same thing for Brian and Chakra if you're still on there. All right, guys. Let's start off with this NBA Finals, Game 4, 6-9. That's tonight. Denver Nuggets at the Miami Heat, Ron.
Yeah, I'm going Nuggets. I just think they win the rest.
I agree with you. You said last, right? We thought they were going to sweep. I think they gave them one in Game 3. I think they come back and make sure. So, yeah, Video Games, you're on. To let us know who you're picking. Denver Nuggets at the Miami Heat. I went Denver. Ron went Denver. Let us know who you picking on that game. He's going with but his Nuggets. We got all right. All right. I don't know if video games you got a first name. You want to give me that? I can put you on the board. From Denver, video games. That's really cool. 6-10, Ron. You got the Vegas Golden Knights at the Florida Panthers. That's game 4. And as much as I want to believe Florida has the momentum now, I'm going Vegas here. I still think they're the superior team. Hometown is Denver. Really cool. Cool. I went Vegas here. Vegas Golden Knights, game 4.
Yeah, I'm going Florida. A little concerned about Kachuk. I know he got his bell rung. So hopefully he's okay. But I got to think that Florida is going to come out and win another one.
Oh, Cape Cod. Living in Cape Cod now. He's in New England. You're in our area. We're Connecticut, Rhode Island, Mass. We're all in that area. So really cool. He's going Vegas. All right. Or she. I don't know. Let's just say they are going. 6-9. You got the Boston Red Sox at the New York Yankees. 3-game set. You're in Boston right now. Just trying to bring back the rivalry, man.
That's funny.
Plant-based nuggets are pretty good. Chakra. Yes. I'm not a big plant-based eating anything. I'm going to tell you, if you saw this body, you'd understand why. Absolutely not plant-based.
Too much information.
Hey, you don't get this chin for nothing, my friend. You know what I mean? That ain't plant-based. 6-9, my friend. You got the Boston Red Sox at the New York Yankees.
Yeah, I'm going the Yankees. I mean, that's just convincing. Yeah.
Are you trying to you're in Boston right now. You can't do that.
Yeah. Oh, wait. They're throwing things at me.
I went New York as well. Yankees. I don't think this is. I like my meat. I hear that, man. I'm a meat lover.
Whoa.
Steak. Give me a nice steak, a burger, some ribs. I'm all day. I don't plant-based anything. Boston Red Sox at the New York Yankees. We both went New York. Video games. I don't know who you picked. If you have a pick there, might have to go. He's Cape Cod. He might have to go Boston.
You know, it is my birthday this weekend, so maybe the Red Sox can actually come through.
All right. Look, happy birthday, Ron.
I don't think they will, but you know.
All right.
I mean, the Bruins and the Celtics didn't, so what?
Oh, he's going Boston. All right. I'm WNBA action here. Dallas Wings at the New York Liberty. That's on 6-11. I went Liberty here.
Yeah, Liberty.
Hey.
No, don't sing the whole song.
I don't want to get beat up here. The Knights.
The Knights Templar.
So I think, is that Chakra's bet? So we're going Chakra here for Nuggets and Knights.
Yep.
I think that's where we're going here. I think that's where we're at. And if they got a pick for the Boston Red Sox Yankees, happy birthday, Ron. Yes, look, we got birthday wishes coming.
And don't forget Chakra_power. He's watching us on Twitch. Please jump on after the show, of course, and check out Chakra's stream. Fantastic. Always some fun games there. Video games went Knights.
Yeah, he went Knights, but we're going, what about Dallas Wings at the New York Liberty video games?
Yeah, I went Liberty.
WNBA. We both went Liberty, New York. See where we go there. Also on 6-11, Ron. Chicago Sky at the Las Vegas Aces.
Yeah, I went the Las Vegas Aces. It's looking like it could be Liberty and Aces for the championship. That's the way it
That'd
looks
be
like.
a hell of a matchup.
Yeah.
That would be a hell of a matchup. I went Aces as well. Video games went Dallas. All right. And then Chicago Sky at the Las Vegas Aces.
Are there any injuries for Dallas?
I don't know.
Yeah. Because then it would be the Dallas Broken Wings.
Oh, my goodness. I thought you were just going to go Paul McCartney on me.
No.
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 All right. Could go for a nice chicken wing. We talking about meat earlier. Live free or die. Are we? Is that the Bruce Willis? I mean, that's
No,
Die Hard.
Video games went aces instead.
Yeah, I got aces. Chakras, Live Free or Die, and I'm going with Bruce Willis. Die Hard. It's great. I mean, I love Die Hard. I love Bruce. Bruce, my man. I don't think New Hampshire's in here, so that's why I'm a little confused on that.
Live free or die. Wings and aces. I'm trying to see the correlation between the two.
I don't know. Let's talk some Major League Soccer. Though we got New England Revs versus Miami or Inter Miami Football Club.
Well, Miami stinks right now, and they don't have Messi yet. So I'm going New England.
It's a messy situation, as you said.
This is their last chance to really beat Miami. So
wow, I went New England as well. I guess for all the reasons you just said, right? Miami's not very good right now, and they're not going to be very good for another month or so. So let's see how that goes. What about some USFL?
Ostful.
I haven't been paying attention to other sports. I don't blame you, video game. I'm just guessing. Hey, half the time, as much as we think we know what we're talking about, when you see our results, we're like, and we watch sports. Liberty, Chakra went Liberty. Okay.
Yeah, I've been on a sports break since
New England. Why not? Okay. All right. You got to stick in New England. You're in Cape Cod. Makes sense. Makes sense. USFL, we got the New Orleans Breakers at the Memphis Showboats, my friend.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because it doesn't have my Stallions there.
Yeah, I had to. I figured we'd take it out a little bit. We got to change it up a little bit.
No, that's okay.
Who isn't a fan of clam chowder? Though the key is Chakra, red or white. Chowder, yes. In New England, it's chowder. Red or white, though.
Oh, absolutely white.
Ooh,
I love New England clam chowder.
You can't go wrong with a nice red chowder, though.
No,
either.
I don't like it at all. I don't like tomato too much, so I don't like the tomato base.
Clam cakes?
Clam cakes is great.
Right? You can't have it without the. Oh my goodness, I'm getting so hungry right now.
Yeah,
white video games went white. I think white is the predominant one. Red is wrong. Red is sometimes. It depends. It depends on where it's at, but there's some good red out there. You got to go down in Warwick. They have a really good place, Warwick, Rhode Island.
Where's that?
Trying to think what the name of it is, but they're really good. Their red chowder is really good.
Rocky Point.
No, it's not Rocky Point.
You're talking about. Oh, okay. But we shouldn't be promoting them.
Okay, I'm just saying if they're interested, Iggy's. Yes, that's it. Very good chowder.
Nope.
You don't like them?
Nope.
Really?
Nope. You got to go to Jillian's in Somerset.
Oh, okay.
Best clam chowder.
Haven't tried the red stuff. You got to try it. Try it though. Video games. You might like it. It's not bad. White's the normal one. White's usually where most people get it, but
so if Jillian's now
I have plans. Chocolate. Check it out.
They need to throw out a sponsorship. Because I just told everybody that they were the best in clam chowder. And let me tell you, Eric, I go everywhere and try it. It's the best.
The best?
It is the best.
Now Chakra is going to try the red. So we've got people on board to try. Listen, it's a New England thing.
So coming up after the show, we have Eric and Ron's food.
Yes. You guys have been awesome tonight. So, USFL will get New Orleans Breakers at the Memphis Showboats.
Yeah, you know how I hate showboats, but I decided to go with them.
Oh, Kenny's on red. Kenny went red. See, Kenny went red. Video games. Whoever told you to stay away from it, you got to at least try it.
Yeah, but
Kenny, I'm a little disappointed. Kenny said he is late. I went showboats as well, by the way. But Kenny is a little late, and he didn't even get our starting 5 Kennys.
I know.
Kenny, you made my list, by the way. You were one of my starting 5. New Orleans. All right, video games. All right. Video games. You got to tune in next week now, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because we're going to be on our list for our show. So make sure you tune in, see where you ranked, how you did. Ron, we got some UFC 289. Amanda Nunes versus Irene Aldana.
Yeah, I'm going.
Breaker.
I mean,
Check,
this
Raj.
is just
I like chakras though. They're pretty good. Breaker. Breaker.
I went with Amanda Nunes. She's just better.
Amanda Nunes. I mean, she's probably one of the most dominant in the sport right now.
Yeah,
I am subscribing. Thank you for the subscription. You won't regret it. We love to have some fun, so thank you for that. But I went Nunes as well. Yeah, how do you not go with her right now? She's probably the top athlete in that sport. She really is the dominant one. So we'll see how that turns out. UFC 289. That's tomorrow night as well. So tune in for that. Ron, we've had a lot of fun tonight. We've done,
as always. The last 3 shows have been really funny too.
Great,
as well as informative.
Yes, great predictions tonight. I love the participation by everybody that's joined us live. Before we go on and do our final thoughts and end this show, Ron, can you tell everybody out there how they can sponsor our wonderful show?
Yes, so you can easily sponsor the show by sending an email to ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We can send you out all the information, and really, it's just simple because it costs less than going to your local coffee shop, buying a large coffee and a donut. And, why not, if you are a bread company, sponsor the pick and roll section? Because everybody likes a good bread roll.
Yes.
And that would be perfect for a bread company.
Yeah. Video games 1989. It was fun. We appreciate you joining us live tonight. We've had a lot of fun with you. Make sure you join us next week, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every week, every Friday, we are live. And I will say this, Super Tecmo Bowl, still one of the best NES games of all time. Yes. One of my favorites. Yes. You cannot. So if you didn't mention
Blades
it,
of Steel? How does
Blades?
that?
Steel. Love it. I have Blades of Steel. One of the first games I picked up when I got NES again.
Yeah.
So yes, you can't beat Blades of Steel.
Hopefully next week I'll be in the locker rooms at Denver doing the show. Maybe.
Is this going to be another meat conversation?
No, it won't be during the game or after.
All right, I was getting a little nervous there.
After the game, but not after the game.
All right. So normally how we end our show, we do our final thoughts. It doesn't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It can be about anything going on in the world today. You are first this week, my friend Ron. Your final thoughts.
Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be first, right? As you saw earlier, I had the Canadian Fire on the background like I do right now. Look, it's a very ugly situation. We just hope that they can get this under control and put out sometime soon. And hopefully people just can stay out of the way of this and be safe. And you know what, though? I worry about all the animals that could be lost in this. So hopefully it gets under control, and prayers and thoughts out for all the people that are in the path of this.
Yeah, and how it's affecting our country, right? With this, with the smoke and the
poor
air quality.
Be safe. Yes. Hey, use a mask. Why not?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. We've done it before.
Let's
not bring it up, but we've done it. So be safe. Great final thought, Ron. My final thought is actually about another dynasty that we really need to start to talk about and look at, and that's the Oklahoma women's softball team, who won their 3rd straight championship, won a record 53 straight games. When we talk about dynasties, I mean, this team has been dominant for 3 straight years now, and they're returning a lot of their players next season, so they may be able to win a 4th. So I think you got to give some love to the women's sports, especially the college sports. They're athletes as well, and I think what a great tournament they've had. 53 straight wins. Think about how hard that is to do. There could be many different things and factors that could come into that. Very impressed. Got to put them up there with some of the top college teams of all time in some of those dynasties. But great job to them. Congratulations on their championship. And Ron, we got to wish you a happy birthday. Best co-host I could ever ask for. I wish you the best this weekend. Enjoy your birthday. What do you got? 50 what, young?
Yeah.
40
25.
something? 25. That's what it was.
25.
Yeah, I was timesing by 2 for some reason. I don't know why.
No, 57. So I'm getting up there, a little long in the tooth. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna spend it with all the people at Havenshine Gaming. That's where I'm
Excellent.
gonna spend it.
Excellent. Video games. Thanks for joining us live. Yes, women's sports need some support. Check it out. Happy birthday, Ron. And then Chakra, thanks for joining us. We had a good time tonight. Kenny, even though you came in late, my friend, check it out. Watch it afterwards. Check out our starting 5 Kens. Starting 5 Kens. Next week, if you guys join us, your starting 5 players or athletes that have the name Ron, that begin with the name Ron, that is what we're going with. And video games, in Chakra, you will be on the board for our predictions. So tune in next week to continue.
Ronnie Lott.
See, don't give them answers already. Boy, a day over 30. Look at Chakra. Chakra, that is very kind of you.
Chakra _
It might be all the smoke. He can't really see it well. That's all. Not a day over 30. Sure.
Yeah,
Ron,
a day.
Yeah, a lot more than a day. Maybe a few months, couple years. Sure. But Ron, love doing the show with you, man. Had a great time tonight. Loved all the fan participation tonight. Guys, make sure video games. Thanks for the subscription. We will see you next week as well. Kenny, tune in earlier next week. Get your name on this board. And Chakra, always a blast. Ron, I will see you next Friday. Everybody out there that watches us after, don't forget to subscribe, to share, send bits, send stars, help support the show. And all we ever ask for is the smoke is good for the skin. Obviously, not a day over 30. Yeah. Not a day over 30. But I will say that all we ever ask for every single week is peace on earth.
Have a great night, everybody.
Take care, everyone.